A cold, brisk autumn night for Week 8 of the MHSA season. Hello again, everybody. I'm Brad Fetters, joined once again by Adam Abraham for MTGA Channel 5. And Adam, a matchup tonight between the L'Anse Creuse North Crusaders and the Utica Chieftains. And a must-win game here tonight for L'Anse Creuse North.
And it's a must-win in terms of playoffs. 6 wins get you in at the MHSA level. 4 and 3, 2 must-wins here. First against Utica. Next week they travel to Dakota. But it's about winning today's game. 5 wins can get you in. It's not a guarantee. 6 is a lock. 5, you got to play this some points, so they are scoreboard watching. But like you said, a must-win here. They got to start here with a victory to get that playoff push. It would be the 5th in their history, but obviously that's what Coach Kiner wants for his team.
As for the Utica Chieftains, they were a team a year ago that got into the playoffs with a 5-4 record. Things haven't gone according to plan this year.
No, they're sitting at 0-7, but they do have a chance here. Don't write them off. They've had a couple competitive games, and it's on the back of Christian Gagovic. He's their senior running back. He's gone for just shy of 100 yards a game, about 6.5 a carry. He went for almost 200 yards last week. So if he gets loose and bust off a couple run against this LCN, and as you mentioned, it is cold out here. So if they can put it on the back of their running back, they got a chance.
These two teams have played really competitive games the last couple, 4-4 in their last 8. It should be an interesting ball game to say the least here tonight. Opening kick coming up next right here on MTGA Channel 5.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Welcome back to Robert Zimmerman Field here at L'Anse Creuse North. And by the time Adam and I got up to the booth, the rain had started to fall. It appears we're going to have rain in and out for the rest of the night. L'Anse Creuse North will kick off the football. They're in black with those gold numerals. The Utica Chieftains in their road whites with black and orange numbers. Christian Gagovic, number 13, Gabe Olszewski back for the Chieftains, and here we go, Adam. Should be a fun one. Kick is a line driver. Gonna get muffed at the 11, picked up to the 15, to the 20, working down the right-hand side. It's Olszewski bumped, and the ball comes out right around midfield, and it'll go out of bounds, so it will stay with Utica. An interesting kickoff there to start the game, and we are underway.
We are underway, and we get to see Christian Gagovic and this Utica offense go right to work. As we mentioned in the pregame, he has some lofty numbers, 184 last week, including a 74-yard run. You saw him back on the kickoff. Expect that kickoff to be shortened to the opposite side of him on each and every one of those. But he's a playmaker, so I'm excited to see him get the ball in the open field.
It comes into tonight's contest averaging 96.5 yards per game, and he's bottled up in the backfield, loses yards on the first carry of the game. And this is a run-heavy Chieftains team. You're going to see a heavy dose of Gagovic here tonight.
We joked with Coach Kiner, Anthony Kiner, the head coach from L'Anse Creuse North, joked with them before the game about the cold, and it's really the first cold game any of these MHSA teams had to play. So definitely running is going to be a benefit of keeping the ball on the ground and keeping it tight.
Averages close to 15 carries per game, and they go play action this time, and they throw it out to number 3, Lutz. Out near close to the first down markers. He will be short. A pickup of 10 will bring up a 3rd and 1.
Definitely going to need a couple of those as you're going to see a lot of Crusaders in the box for Coach Kiner. He's a lot of things, and aggressive is definitely one of them. He's going to send them after the running back, trying to stuff that run game. That's how they think they can beat this Utica team. So they're going to have to make some plays in the passing game, that's for sure.
Zach Keene will be your quarterback tonight for the Chieftains. Right around 50% on the season, completion percentage, and the handoff to the right-hand side. Gagovic, good enough for the first down to move the chains.
That's how shifty Gagovic is. He can move laterally and he can move vertically. There he saw the hole close right up in the middle as a couple of linebackers busted their way through for the Crusaders. Was able to quickly bounce outside and a modest pickup for the first down.
This was a Utica squad who really couldn't get much going last week against a good Warren Mott team in their 45-6 loss. Keene only throwing the ball 8 times, completed 3 passes for 29. And a good early test here for Utica. And there's Gagovic's speed up the middle to the 20-yard line. A shoestring tackle, perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle there. As Gagovic, with a whole burst of speed, picks up the first down.
Caught the safety flat-footed there, able to make that shoestring tackle to save the touchdown. That's something you can't do on this secondary. You have to expect Gagovic. If he breaks through to that second level, you better be ready for him. He's got that incredible speed.
This is a Utica offense that only averages 11 points per game. Gagovic, right-hand side, finds the edge, picks up 10, and gets knocked out of bounds to the 9-yard line. Good enough for 11 yards, and Gagovic so far as good as advertised.
How about that cut there on the 0 of the 20 and bounces right upfield? It was like one step and he got 5 yards, and he's got a great stride, can cover a lot of ground very quickly.
Gagovic, only 4 touchdowns on the season. No stats for him against Grosse Pointe South, so he must have missed that game, but just a terrific tailback for them, and it's a Gagovic show here on the very first drive of the game as he scores his 5th touchdown of the season and gives the Chieftains an early 6-0 lead.
There were probably 5 different Crusader hands on Gagovic on that bounce right up the gut. That's a classic football play, an easy score for Utica.
So it didn't take much time off the clock. 50 yards to pay dirt, and a good healthy dose of Gagovic, and why not? He looks like he is going to be the man here tonight.
That also paid big dividends as this game progresses. We mentioned in the pregame, it's cold, it's windy out here, and to be able to keep that football on the offense, keep it moving, keep the chains rolling, and to keep that ball away from the Crusader offense is important. Time of possession is huge.
So you get the big, long kick return to start things off and methodically drive your way down the field. They had that 3rd and 1 that they were able to pick up. They only had to pass the ball once, and Gagovic does the rest of the work and gives the Chieftains, after the extra point now, an early 7-0 lead. So now, the LCN, where can they come up with an answer?
You know, especially we talked about it. We've seen this as 4th game we've covered for L'Anse Creuse North so far this season at home. They run a spread offense. It's great for hot weather. Coach Kiner loved it when it was 90 degrees and we were sweltering out here. But it changes the game a little bit with these temperatures. It's going to be harder for them to move the ball. Definitely going to see more of the running game today.
Big number 17, Marko Metovsky, going to kick things off for Utica. A big driving kick through the back of the end zone. Metovsky, that's going to be perhaps a weapon for the Utica team, their special teams. If he's given a chance, he just drilled that kick.
Do you think they're amped up over there on that Utica sideline?
Why not? They just watched their offense drive 50 yards and give them the early 7-0 lead. A Utica offense that's desperate here for some points, and is what has been a down season for them as they look to pick up their first win of the season. Justin Szymanski, the quarterback for LCN. 2-back set on both of his hips. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff. Nope, he will give the handoff. Michael Miles, the junior running back, picks up a couple.
Michael Miles is the playmaker for this L'Anse Creuse North team. You'll see him on the far out on the wide receiver. He'll run the slots, he'll run the short routes, he'll run screens, and he'll run plays right in the backfield. He's going to be the guy they're going to be calling today for the Crusaders.
So brings up a 2nd down and 8. Szymanski looking to go across the middle as a receiver in and out of the hands of Taylor Johnson, the junior wideout. That would have been good enough for a first down and plenty more, and Johnson just dropped the ball.
Yeah, and that's where the cold weather plays a factor, big-time factor. You can see him rubbing his hands down there on the field trying to warm them up. Maybe trying to get a little loose.
So 3rd and 8 now. Chieftains with the 4-down lineman brings some pressure from the outside. Nice safety valve over the middle. Good pitch and catch to the 35. Xavion Smith, the junior wide receiver, with the catch. It's really a young receiving core for the Crusaders. Zemansky remaining in the shotgun, sends a man in motion. It's Dawson split. And we'll go to split in the flat. A terrific one-handed grab. He's got that far sideline to the 30, dragged down from behind, but not before a big gain there on first down.
Big time run. They brought that wide receiver on the end around all the way around. Faked it to him, faked it to Miles, and then swung it out to him flat. You blinked your eyes, and he was already across midfield. The little guy's got a lot of speed, and what a weapon for L'Anse Creuse North, someone we haven't seen so far this season.
Good enough for 38 yards. Line of scrimmage now, the 27. Szymanski flushed out of the pocket, will look to go straight up the middle. Breaks the first tackle, gets it out close to the first down markers, and I believe, in fact, he does have it. So a nice gritty run that time by the QB.
Utica Chieftains are getting some good pressure off the front four right now, pushing Szymanski, getting them under pressure, and that's what you want to do. He's a throwing quarterback, but you also got to watch out his feet. That time they overcommitted on the backside, let that front part of the pocket bust open, and he took what they gave him, and that's a first down into the red zone.
Logan Simons, number 32 now into the game for LCN. He's been a tight end. We saw him grab a couple tight end catches and touchdowns. Last time we saw this LCN team, they'll fake with him all the way down to the 1 yard line. Did they give him the touchdown? That's Kyle Turner. Nope, they'll say he was down just short of the goal line.
Looked like a good call as that knee touched, looked like it touched just shy of the goal line. But here you see the Crusaders offense equally to Utica, firing on all cylinders, except they have a lot of different ways you can go. And right now, Kiner's throwing the kitchen sink at them. You don't know what they're going to do next.
You got Michael Miles and Logan Simons out there in that 2 tailback set. And they're going to give to Miles, and he just gets stood up right at the line of scrimmage. Terrific pursuit that time by the Chieftains. Looked like McGuire Palick was the first guy in. .640 remaining first quarter. Utica out to that 7-0 lead. But LCN knocking on the door. Szymanski fakes, flips one out, pass is tipped and intercepted. Look out! Here comes Utica. Olszewski with the interception and the pick six.
Wow, what a play from Utica that time. I mentioned it that entire drive. That front four is doing a fantastic job. Olszewski's one of those guys down there on the defensive end and was able to bat his hand up in the air, made contact, and ran away with that ball. Wow.
And it was the deflection at the line of scrimmage. Gabe Olszewski, the junior linebacker, going up, picks it out of the air and takes it back 95 yards. And a little bit of a shocker here with 6:16 remaining as the kicker slips, no good. And the score will remain 13-0. Wow, what a turn of events.
How about that? The Crusaders running about 3.5 minutes off the clock that time, working a drive, and they looked very good. That probably the best we've seen the Crusaders work on offense, all the different weapons, running a bunch of ways, and they went back to throw the ball, and it's just tipped up in the air, and that's just It's that pressure, the front four of Utica. That offensive line is going to have to figure that out to not allow that kind of pressure to get in the backfield because it causes trouble just like that. When you're on the doorstep at the half-yard line, you know, if Turner doesn't trip and fall at that half-yard line, that's a much different drive. It's a much different outlook on this game. That play right there changes the entire game.
Szymanski was looking for Logan Simons, the tight end that's going to get some looks tonight at running back. As that's a new package that LCN has incorporated into the offensive playbook, and they were just looking for like a slip screen pass to him. Terrific recognition by that Utica defensive line. Get up those big paws, tip the pass, and then have the linebackers come in and clean up. And Olszewski taking it to the house gives Utica the early 13-0 lead, and that's going to be an automatic touchback. The MHSA rules say that if the ball crosses over the goal line on a kick, it is an automatic touchback.
Talk about a momentum swing on that play right there. The Utica coming in and stunning the Crusaders. An 0-7 team. By no means, we mentioned in the opening, no way to write them off. They've had some close competitive games, and they are in the MAC white for a reason, and they've come to play in the past here at L'Anse Creuse North, but 14-0 or 13-0, excuse me, to open up. It's a good start. We'll see if the Crusaders can answer, and it's important they do right here.
Yeah, you mentioned Kyle Turner just about took it into the end zone as Turner gets this handoff and picks up one. And just got tripped up on the goal line, and it created that first and goal-to-goal situation. And
well, this is a L'Anse Creuse North team as well. They're not a team that gets jumped on. They were tied at half against Grosse Pointe. They were within a touchdown at half against Eisenhower. They're not so well a second-half team, and that's where their trouble lies. But here they're getting absolutely jumped all over in the first half.
Send Kyle Turner out in motion, and he's the primary receiver on this pass, and Szymanski airmails Turner. And that was a dangerous pass because Turner Tamati was out there in coverage.
Just going to mention it. Can't try to get all the points back at one time. You got to go right back to what you were doing and moving that ball with short, consistent plays.
That play was somewhat telegraphed by sending Turner in motion. And Tamati, terrific recognition there. As the rain continues to fall here at LCN, and this is going to be a constant, it appears, throughout the night. Szymanski drops back, another quick pass out to Turner, and Turner good enough for the first down as he takes a tumble once again. Same little head over heels move that he used on the goal line. Couldn't quite get it over the goal line, but got it over the first down markers, and will keep this drive alive. That's an important pass there, as LCN desperately did not want to go 3 and out.
Yeah, and you don't want to stick their defense right back and have Gagovic jump all over you again. You needed to get some time for the rest on the other side. But that looked almost like the same route from Turner that time, just instead of throwing it 15 yards deep, you just swung it out into the flats, and that's what it's about, getting the ball in the playmaker's hands in space.
Miles picks up 6, keeps those legs churning. A whole group of Chieftains will bring him down. Venezuela and Nix in on the stop. Line of scrimmage now is going to be the 46. The line to gain is the 48. So we'll call it a 2nd down and 2. Miles with that bright green undershirt and socks. Going to get the handoff, trying the right-hand side this time, and not going to get much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Kurt Kassin in on the pursuit. So we'll bring up a 3rd and short.
You have enough battery?
Szymanski in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers set. Press coverage on the outside. Szymanski looking to run as the pocket collapses, and the Chieftains will not let him go anywhere. They bottle him up for the sack. Number 55, McGuire, back in on the stop. And it will force LCN to kick it away.
And Pal, at that time, you know, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast where Szymanski was able to get upfield because that opened up in the middle. That time he faked deep and came across, and as soon as Szymanski thought he was going to take off, He was all over him.
Low snap. Kick is off and away. It's going to bounce, and I think that hit an LCN player, and the refs are going to let that go, and finally he's going to be down. Nope. One of the officials knew it touched an LCN player. So the ball will be spotted at the 32-yard line.
Well, clear as day as Kyle Turner touched that. It was kind of a weird bounce as he was pursuing the ball. It was low snap, low kick, not too much yardage on that, and just kind of took a weird carom off of Turner.
So the Chieftains will take over with 3:32 remaining in the first quarter of play, already leading this football game 13-0.
And this is where you're in trouble big time if you're the Crusaders. Gagovic, with this run game, they're going to be able to just eat away the clock, and this game's going to very quickly become halftime. Third quarter, fourth quarter for the Crusaders need a quick stop.
Gagovic into the pile. And Utica with this ground game and committed to the run, they can really chew up a lot of clock and really shorten this game, especially now with the lead.
Especially being a 2-score lead. That second touchdown was huge. As mentioned, that's going to be the play. We're going to look back at the end of this game, no matter how it turns out. That's the difference. Kyle Turner falling on the half-yard line as opposed to the end zone, and then the next play being an interception for a touchdown.
Pistol look here, looking to go deep, going up top, reaching out, trying to make the one-handed grab. DeMarco Davis was the intended wide receiver. Pass falls incomplete, and will bring up a 3rd and 8 scenario now for the Utica.
Good throw. It looked like they had the outside route if he would have stayed up on this near sideline, but instead, as soon as that ball was released, Davis cut back to the inside towards the numbers, and that just kind of took a half step away from him. He was about a half step short on that pass. A little bit misdirection on the route cost him there. How about Utica not stopping? Pedal to the metal, taking the deep shot there on 2nd down.
Keen in the shotgun once again, hands to Gagovic, and he is bottled up momentarily and can't escape. So a nice job defensively by LCN.
Flag coming in from the far linesman. It's real late flag.
Officials will get together and talk this one over. Good penetration finally by the LCN defensive line.
They had 8 in the box all 3 plays of that series, and I don't think Kiner's going to take any of those guys out of the box. You'll probably see 8 in the rest for the game. For the Crusaders, you're just going to have to trust that secondary to lock up, make your one-on-one plays, and let the team in the middle do the work and trying to stop number 2.
Dead ball. Personal foul against Utica, so this is really going to back them up now on this punt. So they'll be kicking this ball away from the 15-yard line.
How about this? Michael Miles, not a guy who plays a whole lot of defense in on there. Looks like they're going to go after him.
And why not? Punter all the way back into the end zone, and I do not believe that is their normal kicker, Matovsky. And that was Madison Barch, in fact, and Barch didn't get a lot on it. A little bit of breeze that is blowing would be blowing straight into Barch's face, and he gets off about a net 20-yard kick. So terrific field position now for LCN as they will start in Utica territory.
Chance to answer for the Crusaders. We'll see what they start with. Miles has been slow to get this run game started. It's been the passing game that's been working for him.
2 running backs set, and it's going to be Szymanski that just holds on to it. We have seen that quite a bit from LCN, some design QB runs. Szymanski can be at times pretty elusive out there.
He's definitely a dual threat quarterback, and that's what makes him so special. That's what LCN's known for, finding guys who are dual threat, can throw and can run. A couple years ago, they had Sean Koski, MAC Player of the Year a couple times. He was the same exact way, and that's when they were going 8-1.
This time they hand to Turner right into that Utica defensive line. Halleck again, and big number 55 having himself a first quarter. He's made numerous tackles as we approach the 1 minute remaining mark here in the first quarter of play.
Maybe a little frustration from Anthony Kiner as he is in the opposite end of his team. He's on the far end of his coaching box on the left side down to the 25.
Fake the handoff. Szymanski got enough for the first down, barely. So moves the chains. They'll probably get one more play off here. Dawson Split will be your slot receiver. They're going to stay with Kyle Turner as the lone setback. A little bit of a bunch formation here. Two receivers at the very top of your screen. Game clock down to 15 seconds. Big defensive line for Utica. In pursuit now of Turner as he bounces it out to the left-hand side. Stays on his feet. And the ball come loose on that far side. Chieftains signaling that they have control of the football, and that will not be the case. It will stay with LCN as the first quarter buzzer sounds to end play. And a little bit of a surprise as the Utica Chieftains have come in and taken an early 13-0 lead, but LCN knocking on the door. We'll take a break here on MTGA.
Hi, I'm Jordan Peele. I'm usually trying way too hard to be funny. Well, right now I'm going to be completely serious with you. Online bullying is a toxic side effect of modern technology. No one's immune to it. Not you, not me, nobody. But there's a way we can fix it. This emoji in the symbol section of your phone's emoji keyboard. Use it when you see bullying online to say, I see what you're doing, not cool, definitely not funny. And I know what funny is. I coined the phrase wordness to the turdness. So join me and become a witness. When you see bullying online, use this emoji to do something. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org.
LCN driving, ball on the 14-yard line to start the second quarter of play. Second down and 1 to go. LCN trails in the ball game 13-0. Chieftains have come out here and scored an offensive touchdown in their very first drive and had a pick six. Szymanski looking for receiver, got one, pushed out of bounds. Xavion Smith inside the 5, down to the 2.
Simple 5 and curl there that time for the Crusaders, and that's the kind of simplicity you want to see. They'll do a lot of different things, but it's getting these playmakers in the open space. Xavion Smith had a shot there, just kind of slipped as he approached the sideline, tried to tiptoe. It looked like he was not as close as he thought he was, which kind of caused him to slow down. Otherwise, that's towards the pylon, but good, simple play call. That's what you want to see from the Crusaders. That's what works against Utica.
A little bit of confusion. LCN was looking to go up tempo and then all of a sudden started to huddle. I formation. Michael Miles, your deep setback. And bad exchange as that defensive line for the Chieftains was in the backfield seemingly before the ball was even snapped. Well timed there by the defensive line, and Szymanski reaching out, had the ball knocked out of his hands, and he has to fall down on it to preserve the drive. So LCN offense here, 2 trips into the red zone and nearly 2 turnovers.
Yeah, struggling definitely down there, but that was McGuire Palicki, the junior defensive lineman there, getting his big paw, jumped right over the center off the top of the snap and was able to swat that ball on the exchange. Good heads-up play by Szymanski to see that, identify that ball on that ground, and jump on top of it.
LCN brought in a fullback on that play, and He was the lead blocker, and I don't know if there's just some confusion on where he was supposed to go, but that play blew up for LCN, and it's going to be back to the drawing board here. Second down from the 7-yard line.
Keep talking about trying to get these players out into space, get the playmakers into open areas, and teams that try to do that kind of stuff, when you got playmakers like LCN, you struggle more times when you're down in the red zone. They're a spread offense. They like open space, so when you get into the red zone, you get crammed down there. You get 11 in the box on each side. You start to struggle a little bit, and we're seeing that come through for the Crusaders.
So after the Utica timeout, both teams have returned to the field. LCN with the ball. Second down, goal to go. Bring a man in motion. They're going to throw to him. He's wide open. Dawson split the junior wide receiver into the end zone for an easy touchdown. First points on the board now for the Crusaders.
Dawson was covered on the far side, and as he started to come across the line, his cornerback opted over trying to switch with the guy on the opposite side, but was 5 steps behind him, just didn't get the switch, resulted in a wide open Dawson in the end zone for a touchdown. That's the big play. That's the exact same play we saw earlier in the game that got him that 50-yard play out towards the red zone before they turned it over, and it worked.
Waiting the extra point, the kick is up and good off of the foot of Minsella. And with 11-13 now remaining in the first half, Chieftains lead it 13-7. So that was the answer that LCN desperately needed. After the bad punt, they only had to go 34 yards, but it was exactly what the doctor ordered.
Band comes to life, crowd starts to chirp up a little bit, so you can feel the momentum start to swing back to LCN. Their defense, they're going to give up some points, but this offense can definitely score. They got to keep going to work, but now it's time for the defense to answer the call. They've gotten better as this game's going along, adjusting to Gagovich, figuring out how to stop the run, and they need to keep that going.
Gagovich back deep once again for the Chieftains, trying to utilize him as much as humanly possible. Another deep man back for the Chieftains. Olszewski, linebacker that had the pick 6 back in the first quarter. So a couple playmakers deep, the 2 touchdown guys back there for Utica. High end over end kick. Olszewski muffs it but picks it up to the 30. Tiptoes the sidelines up to the 35-yard line before being driven out of bounds, and that's where Utica will put the ball in play, leading 13-7.
Olszewski's got some sneaky speed. Don't be fooled by him, as Gagovich is the guy in that backfield, but Olszewski definitely got some speed as Gagovich came out as the lead blocker, and Olszewski started to beat him down the sideline. Some speed from both guys in the backfield. Don't be confused at home. Utica's definitely still in the driver's seat. They can piece together another drive. Don't see them going away from the run anytime soon.
Gagovich, left side, stutter steps. That's an easy 11 yards for the top tailback. Out to the 46-yard line.
The difference is that he made that look easy, as he had 2 Crusaders face him about 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. He was able to just dance and duck and dodge just enough, but just enough for him is a first down, 10 yards every time.
Gagovich coming off back-to-back 100-plus yard performances against Mott, Sterling Heights, Stevenson, and he takes this handoff and picks up a pair. He's had some long runs. He had that 74-yard run last week against Mott. He had a 54-yard run against Stevenson, a 46-yard run in their opener against Bloomfield Hills. So an explosive running back, and we've seen that speed and agility out of him here this evening. It's
easy because he's got that. If he can get around that corner, around that first defensive line, if you're not on his half of the field, you're not touching him. If you're a safety or a corner or a linebacker on the opposite side of the field, you're not coming anywhere near him. Too fast, way too fast.
LCN defense going to want to take a timeout here. Ball marked at the 49-yard line, and we mentioned that this is a Utica squad that comes into play this evening with that 0-7 record, 0-4 in MAC white play, and realistically, none of their games have really been that close. Their closest game this season was a 21-17 loss all the way back in week 2 to Grosse Pointe North, but coming in that 40-point loss to Stevenson, a 37-point loss to Warrenmont, a couple touchdown loss to Lakeview. They haven't really been competitive, but they have surprised a lot of people here tonight.
And definitely, again, go back to that single play. We're going to do it the rest of this broadcast. This is an entirely different game at this point if that's a touchdown for Turner as opposed to that pick 6. Big play for the defense. It's a defense that hasn't shown in really any game, giving up just about they're giving up 36 a game, and when your defense doesn't come to play, it's hard to win ball games, no matter how good your running back or your offense can be.
LCN jumping off sides. And they've given up 254 points. That's the Utica defense, and that's after last season when the unit gave up a ton as well. 282 points they gave up last season, which was their highest mark in program since 2009. So you're not going to win many games giving up that many points, especially in the ultra-competitive MAC white.
And the only team worse than them in points against this year is Grosse Pointe North by 2, and Grosse Pointe North only win has come against Utica.
Brings up 3rd and 5. Govich looking for that outside. Don't think he had quite enough to pick up the first down. He's going to be a yard short. He had to get to the 44, and they're going to spot the football at the 45. So it'll bring up a 4th and 1, and no hesitation for Utica. They're going to keep the offense on the field.
Not a mind reader, but it's pretty simple of what they're going to do here. It's going to be up the gut to Gagovich, and see what kind of dials up on the opposite side.
Gagovich in the right-hand pocket of Keene. Keene trying to draw the LCN defense offside. He got his wish at hard count, the second time on this drive, and gives them a free first down.
That's a tough play, and that's something if you're on the Utica sideline, you may have just sent out that offense to try that hard count and call a timeout as the play clock ticks down. You got what you wanted from LCN, and it'll refresh the drive for them.
1st and 10 now from the LCN 40. Keene, high snap. Gagovich brought down in the backfield. Good pursuit that time by LCN. Credit to Griffin Woodson on the tackle. LCN defensively this season, giving up 22 points per game. Defensively, they've been much more solid, and this is an LCN defensive unit that in the past has really gotten beat up, giving up a lot of points, but playing some lockdown defense this season.
Kiner will openly admit to you that he's more focused on the offensive side. Both sides are important. He recognizes that, but he's an offensive specialist.
Look out, Gagovich. All kinds of speed. Bottled them up on 1st down, but he got his yardage back on 2nd down and more.
Blink, I couldn't even get 5 words out of my mouth before he's down into the red zone. Gagovich, this such quick speed. That time he just got over the top of his tackle, made a cut back up the hash mark, and just daylight. Nothing but daylight. He forces daylight when it's not even there.
Terrific cutback there and into the end zone. Too easy right now for senior Christian Gagovich, his 2nd touchdown run of the game, and just like that, Utica now leads at 19-7.
And the key for Gagovich is he's so patient. You saw that time. taking his time to the outside, figuring out where he wanted to go, makes that decision, and then he burst off into speed. And that time it got him into the end zone. So patient, such a smart runner to pair with that speed makes him absolutely deadly.
Tofsky appears to be okay after slipping on the last extra point attempt. This time he bangs it through the uprights. 8:26 remaining first half. Chieftains looking impressive here on the road, now lead at 20-7.
Back in the driver's seat goes Utica, up 2 scores, and that run game eats away the clock.
LCN really going to be in a dogfight here. Gagovich picking up touchdowns, number 5 and 6 on the season. One guy that's picked up yards but really hasn't scored a lot. He had a 2-touchdown performance in their opening loss to Bloomfield Hills. He had a touchdown last week against Mott, and a touchdown against Lakeview, but that's been pretty much it. A 2-touchdown performance here tonight. Still 8:26 remaining here in the first half of play.
Yeah, no knock to L'Anse Creuse North, but when you're playing the likes, when you got to go and play Grosse Pointe South, Warren, Mott, you got to play up and play Stevenson, some very good defenses. Those are just teams that don't give up touchdowns.
A little short kick, dangerous kick, fielded by one of the up men for LCN, one of the hands guys up there, number 53 is going to bring that one in, Jakari Hamilton. So LCN will put the ball in play at the 36-yard line, their 4th drive of this game. Come out spread, 4-receiver look for the Crusader offense. Szymanski, low snap, gets it down. He's gonna have to hurry, can't get the throw off. And number 55, he's had a really good start to this game. Pilot comes in and gets the quarterback sack.
And James Valenzuela was also in on that, the pressure. Szymanski has to make such quick decisions right now that he's not even getting 3 or 4 seconds back in the pocket because this D-line is on top of him. That time they busted right through. They made him pay for that drop snap. Couldn't do anything with it.
5-yard loss on first down. Szymanski drops back, looking to go up top. Terrific catch. Yeah, it was brought in. LaFada for LCN. The junior wideout went up and ripped it out of the defender's hands.
It didn't even seem like he turned around for that. Ball was right on the side. He's bobbled it on the way down, but was able to secure. Great catch, great hand-eye coordination from the wide receiver.
So LCN quickly up to the line of scrimmage. They send a man in motion. That's the touchdown recipient, Dawson, split, and we have a procedural penalty called against LCN, and coach wants an explanation from the line judge.
Kind of over there probably asking, he's like, that's the 3rd time we ran that play. We've seen that twice before. It's the 3rd time. Why is it different this time? What happened there? So he can correct his mistakes.
He's not going to get an explanation from the line judge, and
it was very quick.
Backs them up 5 yards, and will bring up a 1st and 15. The line to gain now is the 34-yard line. Turner. Lone setback. Smith sent out in motion. The handoff to Turner. And gets to the back to the original line of scrimmage and a couple more. Pickup of 6 yards on first down. Brings up a 2nd down and 9 to go.
Case of the run game, setting up the run game, those kind of that motion in the backfield, they keep doing it, sending these wide receivers out wide. That time they faked it to the man coming on the end around and gave it to Turner right up the middle for a modest gain. Good job changing it up. Kind of throw, like you said, he'll throw everything at you.
4 wide receivers. Turner shifts from the left to the right of his quarterback. Szymanski looking to go to Turner and swing pass, and it falls incomplete. Pressure applied by the Chieftains there. May have rushed Szymanski's throw just a little bit. Szymanski will come over to the sidelines now and get some directions from his offensive coordinator. It's a big third down play, 3rd and 9 to go.
Utica doing a good job staying honest on defense, sticking to their man as we continually see the same play, same motion set up, but they're starting to give it to different guys. There we saw it go opposite of Dawson, that time to Turner. Utica right there to make that tackle.
Szymanski directing traffic. Southpaw through the hands of Turner and incomplete.
A couple of errant throws that time on that series from Szymanski. You got to get those down. You got to give Turner a chance to catch that ball. That's a first down if that ball's about a foot lower, but when it's over your man's head, there's nothing you can do. Granted, you're working in the cold, it's rainy, it's not good conditions, but those are wide open throws you got to make.
Kagovic, the lone punt returner back for Utica. It's a good snap, high kick. It's going to bounce at the 25 and take a Utica bounce. And checks up at the 28-yard line. So LCN offense bogs down and forced to kick it away, and this Chieftain offense will get another look. 6:01 remaining in the second quarter of play.
See another hefty dose of Gagovic coming up.
It's no surprise that Zach Keene only threw the football 8 times last week. Is Utica late to get the play in, so they will be forced to burn their second time out. They only have 1 remaining.
If you looked at that setup, though, they were sending 4 wide receivers to that top side, or 3, excuse me, wide receivers to that top side, so they're coming back out in the spread. They threw the ball a couple times on their last couple series, as Gagovic is obviously their guy, but they're not afraid to take that shot. Which keeps LCN honest on the backside. You're able to keep some space in there for Gagovic and not let them completely commit to the run game. Although that, if you're LCN, that's what you got to expect. You open those cornerbacks, those safeties can lock up one-on-one. You're not able to double cover, can't really go into a zone.
So no Gagovic in the backfield this time. It's going to be Olszewski back there. Set to the right of Keene. Keene looking to pass, looking to go across the middle, intercepted. Austin Krul comes up with the pick. And maybe that's the momentum changer that the Crusaders needed.
Cornerbacks doing their job, sticking to your assignment. That's what you needed from Anthony Kiner and the Crusaders. Great play as he was locking up Gagovic. Not an easy play. Came off from the opposite side and just stepped right in front of Gagovic. He knew where he was going with that ball, and it was to Gagovic. Great interception, great timing. Watched the quarterback eyes, knew what was coming on that throw.
So terrific field position here to start this LCN drive. The last time they started a drive in Utica territory, they cashed in for a touchdown, but the Chieftains say not so fast as they bring Kyle Turner down in the backfield. And once again, Palick, the man in to make the tackle.
3 white shirts on top of 2 black shirts that were on the ground. 2 offensive linemen knocked right over. That's going to be a long day for the linemen, the running backs, the quarterback, and the Crusader offense if that continues to happen. Got to figure out a way to move this defensive line.
I think the officials may be asking the LCN band to quiet down, perhaps. Was that what that whistle was for? I think so. They're going to blow another whistle, and they're heading back towards the band. LCN band getting ready for their halftime performance. And
members, you cannot play during the play of the game at the end of the
that's
field.
exactly as the PA announcer is going to come out and
Have you ever
alert
seen
the-
that in a game?
No. I actually, it's a first for me. Obviously, You hear the band play throughout college football, but it's a little different. And pipe in the music during the NFL games, but that's a first. The officials were on top of that. Szymanski, play action fake. Throw it out there. And some yards after the catch.
Flag coming in from the back judge.
Xavion Smith with the reception. Picked up the first down, and we wait the decision on the flag. It was right after the tackle was made. Referee coming in to let us know the penalty call. Face mask on the tackle. So half the distance to the goal. So it will be first and goal to go from the 7-yard line. LCN has had their difficulties in this part of the football field. Straight handoff that time. And that's a jumbo set. Simon's taking the handoff on the sweep play.
Logan Simon's middle linebacker rock for this Crusader defense. We saw him a couple weeks ago run for a couple touchdowns and probably about 100+ yards. But Anthony Kiner told us before the game, last 2 weeks, we're going to let him loose. We need a playoff berth. We need 2 wins. We're going to let it rock. You know, you don't want your defensive guys getting beat up too much on offense, especially if they're the center of your defense, as Simons is. But when it comes to winning a ball game, you got to win today. You can't play for tomorrow if you don't win tonight.
And remember correctly, Simons scored those touchdowns, though, as a tight end. Gets the look here, kind of in a fullback position. That was a big victory over Ford. And that was a week 4 victory over Ford. Since then, they've also picked up a win against Cousino, but this is an LCN team that's dropped 2 straight and look a little shocked right now to be in a ball game here against Utica, and really it should come as no surprise. We talked about it off the very top of this broadcast. These 2 teams have been pretty evenly matched the last couple of years, 4-4 in their last 8. So you just had to know something was going to give here tonight.
And after running a couple tough weeks for L'Anse Creuse North, maybe the players took a breather, just kind of phased out. Oh, 0-7 coming in as a player. You're not going to be locked in, so rocked and ready to go. That might be just a mental lapse.
Szymanski avoids the first hit. He can't avoid the second and third. Give Kesson the sack there, big number 81 from that DN position. And he was a player we were told to pay attention to, as he's kind of their rock on that defensive line. And this is an LCN offense, Adam, that tonight is really broken down inside the red zone.
Yeah, and they've had their struggles. It seems like every time they get within the 10-yard line, not even 20, but the 10, they're going backwards every single time. Just can't get anything going over there. And if you're going to go over, looking at 0-3 in the red zone, you're going to struggle.
Looking for the pass through the air. We're going to have a flag come out. That's going to be a pass interference call. Looking for LaFata.
Automatic first down to give the Crusaders another breath, another chance to push this one in.
So everybody knew LCN was going to have to try to get a touchdown through the air as they got backed up after the quarterback sack, and Utica DB got beat. So the ball will be spotted at the 10. It'll bring up third down, goal to go for LCN. 3:28 remaining in the second quarter. Szymanski, low snap, gets it up. Looking for the fade. LaFata goes, got it, touchdown.
Same exact play they ran on that pass interference. They just got that little streak to the end zone for LaFata. It's a jump ball, and they were able to pull it down. Great couple catches there by LaFata. LCN back in this game.
So LCN making Utica pay After the interception, they turn that turnover into points. Minchella comes out now to add the extra point, and the kick is good. And 3:22 remaining. LCN has trimmed the Chieftain lead down to 6. Score now 20-14.
L'Anse Creuse North finally finding something that works in the red zone. Even if it's a streak to Lafada, what's important there is they were able to push that score in. Or maybe stay away from the run game in the red zone for Kiner for the rest of the game. So that's clearly not working. Finally, Szymanski got some time. Threw a perfect ball, an absolutely perfect ball. The only person that could catch that ball was Lafada on the slide. Was able to tiptoe that back line for the touchdown.
And that's the thing. Szymanski has needed time, and he hasn't had a lot of it this evening, as Utica has done a terrific job of putting pressure on him. That pocket has collapsed a couple times, and they've been able to sack Szymanski. When Szymanski has had time, he has been able to deliver some terrific passes to Lafada and a touchdown grab by Dawson Split. So 2014, Utica clinging now to a 6-point lead. LCN, when they've needed to, have come up with answers tonight. Utica got off to that early 13-0 lead, and look out, they kick it to Gagovic here. Gagovic up to the 25, to the 30, the 35, the 40, looking for the outside all the way out to midfield and in the LCN territory. The Crusaders are going to have to kick the ball away from him.
I looked at that kick and saw it go. You question it immediately. Why do you even kick the ball to him? Kick it to the opposite side. Kick it into the end zone. Don't let him do that. You see him run through 3 special teams guys. No, it's not worth it. Kick the ball away from him, because now great field position for Utica. They got 3 to go. Definitely can work the ball. Got some time on their side.
Last Chieftain drive ended on the interception. Gagovic loses his balance as Simon comes up and makes the tackle. He lost his helmet, so he's going to have to sit out a play. Gagovic nearly broke that play.
Oh, yeah, and bounced right upfield. How about that? Again, you see the patience to identify the hole and attack it. And by the time he's attacking it, you don't know what's going on the defensive side.
It's hard to believe that this Utica offense has only averaged 11 points per game. Gagovic looking for his spot, found it open up to the 35. Good enough for a first down. Needed 4, got 4. Under 3 minutes now remaining in the second quarter. Clock stops and move the chains. They'll wind it down now.
I mentioned a moment ago just the teams they're going up against. They're teams that'll shut you down. If you're one-dimensional, it's not hard for them to take control no matter how good you are.
High snap, get it down. And handoff Olchevsky. Back to the line of scrimmage. Clock continues to run, approaching the 2-minute mark of the second quarter.
For the Crusaders, the yards per carry isn't going to look pretty, but for the most part, outside of 5, maybe 6 runs for Gagovic, you're doing a pretty good job.
Keene, terrific job of getting that snap down. It was above his head, and he just turned and handed off. Gagovic picking up 3, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 7. The line to gain is the 25. Utica had no timeouts after using a couple on the defensive side of the ball, and they're going to take their time. LCN going to load up the box. Going to bring some pressure here. Keene drops back, looking to pass, and was looking for his tight end, and the 2 guys going to come together now and sort things out. The intended receiver was Kesson there.
Perfect read. All 3 linebackers were playing kind of an option play there. Definitely going to stop the run when you see that ball go off, but all 3 of them fell off into his zone and was perfectly read as A couple wide receivers were double covered, and they were able to knock that ball to the ground.
So Chieftains are going to play the field position game. They're going to trot Madison Barch out. Try to punch this one down inside the 10-yard line.
Might as well with 1:17 to go, as long as you get it off and get it clean.
Barch's heels on the 49, comes up, gets a kick off. And one will bounce at the 10 and take a left-hand turn out of bounds. Terrific kick. Will pin LCN deep. This one, they'll say, ended up rolling out at about the 2-yard line.
And it forces the hand of L'Anse Creuse North, because you can't just take a knee and head to the locker room. I'm not sure that's what Coach Kiner would do anyways, but that takes that option away, because you take a knee into the end zone. You got to run the play. If you're Utica, take a shot. Take one more shot and send a blitz. Go try to get a stop in the backfield for safety.
So that ball right there on the 2-yard line. Szymanski will take the snap in the end zone. 69 seconds up on the big board. Gonna have to go the length of the field. Turner straight up the gut. Gives him a little bit of a breathing room as he got it all the way up to the 10-yard line.
They're trying to hurry up. They want to run a couple plays before they head to the locker room, that's for sure.
Szymanski remaining in that shotgun, directs traffic, puts Turner off to his right. Gets a snap and will take it himself and got to the line of scrimmage. Not much more there for Szymanski, and maybe run one more play and try to break one here. They have 2 timeouts and not electing to use one here. 20 seconds left. Szymanski looks over to the sideline. LCN will have the very first possession of the second half, so I'm sure that's in the back of their minds. And coach is just going to tell them to back off the line of scrimmage, and both teams will head into the locker room with Utica on the road, leading this football game by the score of 20-14. Adam, your thoughts?
Definitely some adjustments needed for L'Anse Creuse North. Really need to lock and load on offense, figure out how to get something consistent, specifically in the red zone, because it's right now their red zone offense is costing them this game. That's just being frank.
Utica 2 touchdowns on offense and a big pick 6. They led it 13-0. LCN clawed their way back, but trails at 20-14 at halftime. We'll take a quick break here on MTGA. When we come back, the second half will play.
Macomb County, 27 cities, townships, and villages. From East Point to Memphis, Romeo to New Baltimore. 458 square miles of where you want to be. It's a place where your children can grow, and so can your business. Macomb County's tree-lined borders contain over 12,000 acres of parkland. Its outer edge, 31 miles of freshwater shoreline, both filled each year with countless concerts, festivals, and family reunions. It's the birthplace of advanced technologies that not only instruct future generations, but protect them. Hey, and those are just facts. You can get that from the internet or a book. No. To truly understand what Macomb County is all about, you need to experience it. You need to live here. You need to work here. When you do that, you'll know you're home.
Awkward.
I'm the awkward silence.
You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Today is the beginning of a bright new future for this country.
Live a life on my knees.
The voters are coming.
I am the savior. We are the savior.
back to Robert Zimmerman Field. Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham. Utica Chieftains out in front, nearly set to go for the third quarter of play. Utica leads LCN by the score of 20-14. Crusaders will have the first possession of the second half as they await the opening kickoff, and really an impressive first half performance by Utica here on the road.
Yeah, a couple big stops, big-time stops by their defensive. We obviously got that 99.5-yard touchdown return by the defensive lineman on that swat down from Szymanski. But it's been Gagovic doing work on offense, keeping that run game going, able to get points when they need them and able to get first downs.
Matovsky kicks it deep, just short of the goal line. Well-placed kick there. And looking for some room and finding it. Going to be Kyle Turner, upended, and the crowd wanted a late hit for the hit out of bounds, but they will not get it. But Turner, 45 yards out to the 46-yard line. A little bit of a spark there, perhaps, on the special teams.
A little bit of a spark and a little bit different energy for the Crusaders on the sideline. Mentioned it to you watching them come out. Anthony Kiner shedded all of his layers off. He was wearing a hoodie, a jacket, and a hat, gloves. He's got nothing but the polo now, yelling at his players, let's go. They're fired up. They're dancing around. They're moving. I imagine that was a fiery halftime for the Crusaders. They answer right away on that kick return. We'll see if they can keep that momentum going.
And perhaps some paint peeling in that locker room at halftime. As a terrific slant route and a pitch and catch. And it's going to be number 3, Dawson Split, already a touchdown, and a late flag comes in as well.
Looks like a block in the back. As the back judge immediately indicated. He pointed towards a Crusader, looked like Kyle Turner. Excuse me, Xavier Smith.
So just a real simple slant route to start things off, and Split got himself into some green and raced to the sideline, but this one's going to come back. Will be a spot foul, so it will move the chains, though. Walk it off from the spot of the block in the back, so we'll put the ball down at the Chieftain 33.
Talking about freezing them in their tracks. Here they go, a big 30-yard play. But as we mentioned, doesn't knock them all the way back and gives them a first down. They still move the chains, move the ball up.
Miles in the backfield. Szymanski bounces that pass. Buried that one straight into the field turf, was looking for Split.
Immediately turns to the sideline, taps his chest a few times, signaling, hey guys, that one's on me. Just a complete miscue.
Steady rain continues to fall. It has been raining since kickoff, so you would imagine that this field turf could be slick as well as the pig skin. Miles, the lone setback, takes the handoff, bursts through the line all the way up to the 25. Will be just short of the first down, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
Young man stays low and keeps his legs moving, makes contact, but he was lower than his defender, knocked him right over and fell forward for an extra 3 yards.
And Miles, the junior running back, really kind of quiet, I thought, in that first half as Kyle Turner got the majority of the carries. Utica bringing all kinds of pressure. Miles looking to bounce it to the outside. Was his creativity enough there to get a first down? It all depends on the spot. And the spot is going to be just short of the first down marker. They're going to say Miles just got back to the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be 4th and short as Utica brought the house that time.
You know, Anthony Kiner, there's no doubt you're staying on the field. You don't even have to think about it. But this is an offense that they pass to open up the run, and that's what we're going to start to see in the second half. If that strong passing game can open up a few runs for Miles. He's a bulldog back there. He's taking some hits.
And they fake the handoff, and that fake is going to buy them the first down as the Chieftains sold out to tackle Michael Miles, and that kind of run option play allows Szymanski to get a couple. That was just enough for the first down. A little bit of a gamble. Wasn't much, but it was enough.
on that draw play, on that fake. He, as soon as he faked it, he had 3 white hats and was able to just slide sideways and slip by the Chieftains. I'm not sure how he got there, but he got there.
This time that option play will, in fact, go to Miles. Picks up a handful. Brings up a real second down and manageable for LCN, and we talked about it throughout that first half, but this is where this LCN offense has had their difficulties. They haven't had trouble getting from the 20 to the 20, but inside this red zone is where they've really had their tough time.
That's where important where runs just like this by Miles are going to open it up. They're really going to him. This offensive line starting to get some push on the Chieftains defenders.
Surges ahead for the first down. This will be 1st and goal to go from the 8-yard line.
Quick pace from the Crusaders as well. That's something they're known for. They like to keep moving the ball, wear that defensive line down, and keep it coming at them.
Utica bringing some pressure from the outside, and it's going to be Miles bouncing to the outside, wrapped up there. Nowhere to go. 22 and 13. Olszewski and Venezuela. So 2nd and goal to go. Ball on the left hash. A little bit of a bunch set once again. 2 wide receivers at the top of your screen, out wide.
Man-to-man coverage on that outside with that safety over the top.
And they're looking to go to the bottom of your screen, floating one out, and another pass interference call. We've seen it a couple times tonight where LaFata has gotten open in the end zone and they've had to drag him down, and that's the case here once again.
I mean, when in that case again, that it was Turner Tomati with the pass interference that time, but when LaFata beats you like that, what else are you going to do? When you're going to give it the touchdown or the penalty, when the guy is right behind you and you can do nothing but drag him down, sometimes that's not the worst play in the world.
So a couple back shoulder throws on that fade play. We'll see if they go to it again. LaFata at the very bottom of the formation has been the target down here when they've been knocking on the door.
Same formation as the last play as well.
They send that man in motion. That's split. And Szymanski's going to run for it this time. Bounces off a couple would-be tacklers inside the 5 down to the 2.
Play call, definitely. He looked at LaFata and kind of brought his arm back like he wanted it, but LaFata was double covered that time. High-low coverage on LaFata. Looked like Szymanski had nothing to do. Pocket quickly collapsed as he couldn't get that throw off on the double coverage. Smartly tucked it and ran for a couple.
Olszewski with the tackle for Utica.
Big-time play. This is where you'll see if the Crusaders made the adjustments.
3rd and goal to go. Here we go. Szymanski, Utica selling out, bringing the heat. And a little flip pass, and ooh, and out of the hands of a wide open Kyle Turner, who might have been thinking end zone before securing the football, as that was a well-thrown ball by Szymanski, and Turner just flat out dropped it.
And that's exactly what that was a case of. You got to catch the ball and then run. He didn't have the ball wrapped up, and he was already moving towards the end zone. Secure the ball, and then you make your football move. Every coach teaches that at the base level of fundamentals, the lowest level of football. But sometimes it just escapes you in a big moment like that when you can smell the end zone, as Turner was wide open.
So here we go, 4th down. LCN going to go for it. Turner and Miles in the backfield. Turner out to the left. Szymanski flushed out of pocket, going to have to run for it, and he's in for the Crusader touchdown.
McGuire Pilecki, we've called his name the junior defensive lineman. Called his name quite a bit today. He's making a lot of good plays. That time just whiffed on Szymanski. Szymanski planted, cut it at the half-yard line, and was able to wedge himself into the end zone virtually untouched, as that play again quickly broke down.
Selly will look to add the extra point, and it's a bad snap, and will he get the goal line? He will not. So an opportunity for LCN to take their first lead of the night goes for naught. It was a bad snap, and the kick was unable to get off. So with 7:41 remaining in the third quarter, we are locked up at 20 apiece.
You can't be upset about that missed extra point because we are now in a tie ball game, locked up. Your offense came down into the red zone and finally was able. They weren't going backwards every single play. They were moving forwards that time and able to punch it in the end zone. It wasn't pretty. It's not what you want to do every time, but Szymanski was able to get the job done, kind of working with what he got, made a couple great runs as plays broke down, and that's what we didn't see in the first half. Szymanski was getting hit in the backfield. His offensive line is finally buying him enough time so the playmaker can make his plays.
54 yards in just over 4 minutes. And talk about answering the bell coming out of the half. And we talked about Coach ripping off the jacket and the hoodie, and he's down to his short sleeves. And this LCN team, on that very opening drive of the second half, comes out, scores the touchdown, and ties up the score. This was a team that was trailing 13-0 after their first offensive possession of the game. After the pick six, after watching Utica drive down the length of the field, they trailed 13-0, but have worked themselves back into this game and now tied 20 apiece.
I know Anthony Kiner from when he got hired into the L'Anse Creuse District 7 years ago. He was a tight end back at Western Michigan, but there's two things he knows how to do. He leads by example, and he knows how to fire people up and get them going. That's two things. Where you say the paint was peeling in the locker room, that's what he got done, and the drive reflected that type of energy for L'Anse Creuse North.
And Shella line drive kick, that's just trying to keep the ball out of Gagovich's hands. Tamati making the catch right at the 25, so that's where Utica will put the ball in play, their first drive of the second half. They had that defensive touchdown that we've talked about, and two terrific touchdown runs by Christian Gagovich, senior running back. Where's number 2 in white? And there's some movement up front. This one's going to come back. This is a Utica offense that brought back Zach Keene. He took over for an injured quarterback last season, so he had plenty of experience. Gagovich was also a guy that had some varsity experience, I believe, last year, but was taking over for a terrific tailback, Karan Higdon, who's at the University of Michigan, his brother. Kavan now playing over at Lawrence Tech in Southfield. Look at that pursuit that time. All kinds of black jerseys. Whole host of Crusaders in on the tackle.
Not a single defensive player outside 10 yards. A design run, but they're going to answer that every time. They're not going to let Utica run the ball on them again. At least that's what their game plan would be.
So Gagovich picks up 1, brings up a 2nd down and 14. For that procedural penalty, back them up. Gagovich looking for some room, finds a bit, gets back to the original line of scrimmage where it'll be 3rd and 10 to go. So this would be a big stop for this LCN defense, really shift that momentum onto their sidelines. This Mac White, Grosse Pointe South, pretty much running away with it. They're 4-0 coming into play tonight. And Grosse Pointe South taking on their rivals on the road, Grosse Pointe North. The only team that could catch them within the Mac White standings is Warren Mott. And Mott, their only loss of the season was to Grosse Pointe South. Mott's got a home game tonight against Utica Ford. So the best Mott could do would be a share of the Mac White title. And Keene looking to go up top, had a receiver, Gagovich there, and Christian just couldn't run underneath that football. So Utica got themselves into an obvious passing situation there with the 3rd and long, and good coverage will force them into a punt.
And where we see Gagovich is very good on the ground, running the ball. A couple kind of misdirected routes that time, kind of took a weird route to the ball. Not the best throw in the world, but something he can definitely get to, and not too often you're going to out-throw a player like Gagovich.
Turner going to take a couple steps up. He'll be at the 50-yard line. And now we'll back up as he gets some directions from his special teams coach and tiptoe all the way up to the 45. So either way, you're going to have really good field possession here as LCN brings some heat. Ball's going to bounce inside Utica territory and will finally roll over the midfield stripe and be down right on the N in LCN, and we'll call it the 46-yard line.
Still a great chance for LCN getting the ball back. Defense coming to play that time. A quick out for them to stop that Utica team and get the ball back to the momentum. The momentum's on the side of this LCN, and especially their offense. If they're moving the ball like that, get the ball back as quickly as possible, and that's exactly what they did.
So both of these drives here in the second half have started on the 46-yard line, and that might be a good thing for LCN. It paid off dividends last time as they scored the touchdown, and this time they send that man out in motion, and they throw to him. It's number 11, Xavion Smith. Smith, the playmaker that they want to get involved.
One thing we haven't seen from LCN, they haven't hit on that big home run play yet. They've moved the ball methodically every single time, but they've been getting these balls in the open space. Give Utica some credit as they haven't allowed that big play.
That's a guy that they've really haven't given much room to run. That's Michael Miles.
Miles not exactly a between the tackles kind of guy, but that's what he's had to do today. They haven't been able to open up that big hole for him.
Ball on that right hash, the 42. They fake the handoff, pressure coming. Szymanski able to escape, looks for that far sideline, gets the first down and gets hit late, and they're going to bring out the flags, and that was a late hit out of bounds. So they'll tack on 15 more to this play.
We talk about the dual threat quarterback, and Szymanski's exactly that. The junior quarterback able to spin out of the tackle. Defensive lineman was Kurt Kesson coming in hot off that edge, but over pursuit as he got real hungry once he saw no one in between him and Szymanski. A little bit too quick. Should have slowed down a little bit. You can't come in that hot with the quarterback with as good of footwork as Szymanski had. Spin right out of it and turn something in out of nothing. And then tacking on the extra 15 on the late hit.
Szymanski flushed out of that pocket and kind of shimmied his way over the right-hand side and was just going to stroll out of bounds, but late hit. So the ball marked now at the 16-yard line. Once again, another trip into the Utica red zone. And been much better as of late after stalling out on their first couple drives. Utica just continues to knock on the door. Bad exchange between quarterback and running back on the zone option read play. Maybe some confusion on who was going to take it. Szymanski and Miles coming together in the backfield, and a loss of 3 there will bring up second down and long.
Mention again that weather definitely plays a factor. That's 3 or 4 times we've now seen Szymanski do that. The rain continues to fall.
So Miles replaced now by Kyle Turner. Szymanski looking to go. The ball popped up into the air. Terrific coverage by the Chieftains. Number 3, Shane Lutz in on the coverage. Batted that ball out of the air.
Junior defensive back was able to just stick his big paw out, was out in front of the wide receiver, tipped it just out of reach. Good defensive play.
You wonder what kind of special teams we'll see here as LCN's already missed an extra point. You'd be looking at about a 36-yard field goal here if you couldn't complete it. They send out Kyle Turner and another bad snap. And that ball's still loose, apparently. Who's got it? This would be a big blow, and they're going to say Chieftain ball.
And Szymanski, that ball dropped, fell forward. Szymanski jumped on it just under the offensive lineman, and then it slipped out a second time as he wasn't securing it. And that second time it went above his defensive line, or his offensive line, excuse me, and the Chieftains were able to jump on it.
Second Crusader turnover of the game, and Perhaps took points off the board there as you hand the ball over to the Chieftains, who will take over at the 21-yard line.
Got an absolute battle cooking up here as the Crusaders had a real chance to really get momentum in their favor, and Chieftains swing it right back.
Gagovich picks up a pair. Grosse Pointe South team within the MAC White. We mentioned 4-0, but 7-0 overall as they look to put the finishing touches on a perfect MAC White season tonight against their rivals Grosse Pointe North. The other MAC White matchup tonight, Utica Ford at Warren Mott. MAC Red also within play as Chippewa Valley has gained at least a share, and Gagovich stays on his feet, spins out of a couple tackles, and makes his way all the way out to the 46-yard line. A highlight run there by Christian on a night that he has done a little bit of everything.
And that's contact at the line of scrimmage, able to cut up, down, and all around the field. That was felt like about a 12-second play to pick it up. He'll just cross and cross and cross. He's just so patient. Even when you're downfield, slow up, watch the defender, let them make the move first.
And he just kind of falls forward. A good heads-up play that time. So he squeezes through the line and did a good job of plunging forward. His blockers opening up some holes. Ball all the way out to the 49-yard line. Making something out of nothing there. Tight end shifts over to the left-hand side. He's going to provide that lead block for Gagovich. Look out. Kurt Kesson providing that lead block. We do have some laundry on the field right about the line of scrimmage, so this will more than likely come back.
Seen a lot this game, but equally on both sides, pretty undisciplined, as we've seen now 3 or 4 big plays on both sides have to come on back after, that's a drive-changing play right there, and it ends up hurting you, or a 25-yard pickup turns into a 10-yard loss. That's a big deal.
10-yard walk-off penalty from the spot of the foul will move the Chieftains back now to the 40-yard line. The line to gain is the LCN 44. Two receivers to Keene's right. High snap, gets it down, fakes the handoff, looking to air it out, and good man-on-man coverage on the outside. DeMarco Davis, the intended wide receiver.
Hunter Shorkey on the opposite side for the Crusaders. Almost outran Davis as that ball was high. Definitely outmatched, about 6 inches on that side in favor of Davis in terms of height. But Shorkey was able to just enough defense to knock that ball out of play.
3rd down, 16 for Utica, and LCN might be smelling blood here. An obvious passing situation, you would think, for Utica. Miles applying some pressure, and they'll just go with the straight-up draw play. And oh no, a late flag comes in, and this is more than likely going to be unnecessary roughness as a Crusader came in and pushed a Chieftain player, and this is going to keep a drive alive perhaps, or are they going to call this on Utica? Nope, the personal foul call against LCN. They're going to walk off 15 yards, and now this would typically, I believe, be an automatic first down at most levels of play. A personal foul would result in an automatic first down, but they're going to be short of the first down markers, so they will say 4th down.
And you were right on that play initially. You definitely saw that push, but Utica took about 10 yards back. That whole huddle moved right on back like that penalty was on them. Wasn't sure that was coming from.
And Utica's going to keep the offense on the field.
Have no choice in this situation, especially being in Crusader territory.
And now we're going to get a timeout from the Chieftain sideline. Big play in this game with 1:43 remaining in the third quarter. You're looking at a 4th and 3 play from the LCN 47-yard line. LCN the only score of this third quarter after trailing 20 to 13 rather at half.
You were mentioning scores for a little while earlier. Definitely the marquee matchup in the MAC tonight that we are watching. It's Romeo and Chippewa for essentially what would end up being a share of first place if Romeo can knock it off. They are up 19 to 13 in the third. Gridlock there. That's a scary place to play in Romeo.
Yeah, technically you could have a 3-way tie for first place if Dakota was able to handle their business tonight on the road against Eisenhower's. Gagovich gets the first down. Halftime score was 20 to 14. I was right the first time. LCN missed the extra point here in the third quarter, so it was 20-14 at half. LCN the only touchdown of this third quarter to even things up at 20 to 20 as they had the bad extra point. I get for second guessing myself up here. Hey, Chippewa Valley 4-0, Dakota 3-1. Their lone loss was to Chippewa Valley. Gagovich, just a healthy dose of him this evening, and why not?
And anytime contact is made, you're probably going to tackle him 3 to 5 yards after where you initially make contact. Such great momentum moving forward.
How about that game last week between Dakota and Romeo? Double overtime thriller as the Cougars come out over the Bulldogs 37-30. That was Romeo's lone loss on the season. So we mentioned Chippewa Valley were to go down to Romeo, you'd have a 3-way tie. There's no tiebreakers. It would be a 3-way tie. Gagovich sprints ahead. And Eisenhower, a team that hasn't quite yet automatically qualified for the MHSA playoffs, are going to need 2 more victories to automatically qualify. Gagovich gets enough for the first down. Under 30 seconds remaining now in the third quarter. Utica going to take their time getting to the line of scrimmage as their quarterback and junior signal caller Zach Keene breaks the huddle. 20-20 the score. Cold, bitter night here in LCN. Gagovich makes the first man miss and upended as he was heading out of bounds, and they will say he did get out of bounds.
Also have a flag over there on the far side again.
Early indication that this will go against Utica, and it will be a block in the back. So a couple offensive penalties to Utica on this drive have backed them up a couple times, as that will do it for the third quarter of play, but they've been able to overcome it. They will continue to drive as we head to the fourth quarter of play. Our score all locked up at 20. Do not want to miss the fourth quarter play. That's coming up after this brief timeout.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Fourth quarter of play from L'Anse Creuse North. Utica and the Crusaders locked in at 20 points apiece. Utica ball, 1st and 19 after the block in the back penalty. And, of course, no surprise, a handoff. Gagovich picks up 1. So it'll bring up a 2nd down and 18. And this drive looked to be dead in the water as Utica had a 3rd and long and just ran a draw play up the middle and a personal foul call, 15-yard walk-off penalty. Gave Utica a 4th and short, which they were able to convert, kept this drive alive, but a couple of offensive penalties have kind of stalled their momentum a little bit. Keene gonna remain in that shotgun, 3 wide receiver set, fakes the handoff, looking to go deep, man-on-man coverage, good coverage there as the pass falls incomplete. Number 24, Hunter Shorkey, in on the pass deflection, and he's been good in the secondary tonight for LCN.
Yeah, and Shorkey's been on DeMarco Davis the entire time this game, and he's made 3 very good defensive plays, that probably being the best. If he's not in that positioning at that time, that's a completed pass for Davis down their sideline. So very well thrown ball up for Davis, but Shorkey was able to get just enough of a tip to knock that out wide. Played the body, not so much the ball, but still got a piece of the ball and got a piece of the body. Great defensive play.
So Utica goes for that home run ball on 2nd down, knowing they had a couple more downs to work with. Kind of got to like that offensive play calling by them. Chieftains come up now, 3rd and long, 3rd and 17. Pressure felt, escapability. Keene, and another late hit. Oh, boy, is that a back-breaking penalty there for LCN, as Keene was just going to go out of bounds, and you get the late hit on that far sidelines. Oh, boy.
It didn't just look like Keene was going out of bounds. It looked like Keene was a step or 2 already out of bounds when that hit came in. I know, blood in the water. You want to go after the hit. You want to make the big play. You just want to make a hard-hitting hit, but you can't make that mistake.
So as we know from the previous play, it's just a 15-yard walk-off, not an automatic 1st down, and that walk-off is going to bring them really close to the 1st down marker. They're going to mark him just short, and it'll bring up a 4th and 1. Ball on the right hash at the 22-yard line. The line to gain is the 21. So 4th and 1 play, 11:01 remaining in the 4th quarter.
How about this for making a difference in the game? Utica going for it. They want the touchdown. They want Pater keeping the kicker on the sideline. Not an unreachable goal, but here we go.
They send the man in motion. That's Kurt Kessin, and anytime they send him in motion, they usually run behind him, and now Utica will use one of their timeouts to talk things over.
And we're going to have to wait a little bit more for this play.
So that's a play that they've run a lot of here tonight, sending their big tight end Kurt Kessin in motion and using him as that primary block for number 2, Christian Gagovich. Gagovich as good as advertised in this ball game as he is. I don't think he's really taken a play off. Even when he's not in that running back position, they've split him off kind of as a slot receiver.
Absolute game-changing speed by Gagovich. He can do just about anything. If you can figure out just a way to get him ball in the open space, so there's, well, yeah, you do want to mix some stuff up. You do have another very good running back in Gabe Olszewski. Well, you don't take Gagovich out of the game, though, especially when you're struggling offense as they are. They struggle to put up points on the board. You want to keep them out there.
LCN comes out with a 4-3 defensive look. Gagovich looking for the left-hand sides. Got the edge and more. Christian Gagovich down to the 1-yard line.
It's a touchdown if there's not 2 Crusaders there to meet him at the pylon. If there's one, he's probably going through them. But he's got so much speed built up on that back end that every time he hits somebody, he's the one going forward. Touchdown saving play, but They get the ball at the, they'll mark them out at the, looks like the 2-yard line.
So a 20-yard run for Christian Gagovich.
How about the speed to turn the corner on that 4th down play?
Gagovich to the left side of Keene now. Keene will hand off. Gagovich looking for the right side, and he's got it into the end zone for 6 points. His 3rd TD run of the night.
Great run as he just got a free run at the end zone. There was more Crusaders on this near side than the far sideline. You saw Anthony Kiner was on this sideline waving over to his defense, pointing far side, far side, far sideline. He was 5 yards out on the field screaming at these guys. He knew where that play was going as it's a pretty predictable Utica offense. You pretty much know off the set what they're going to do. And Kiner did, but his defense can't answer. So now it'll be LCN to play from behind.
These extra points tonight haven't been automatic, but Matovsky knocks it through. And Utica now leads at 27, 20-10, 49 remaining in the 4th quarter. So that was a heavy-duty dose of Christian Gagovich, and he ends up scoring the touchdown after the 20-yard scamper. A couple big 4th down plays, a couple costly penalties for both sides as both teams committed a couple personal foul calls, but a big back-breaking personal foul late hit out of bounds gave Utica 15 free yards and allowed them to convert on 4th down to keep that drive alive, and Utica finds pay dirt. And back in front now, 27-20 as the pendulum keeps swinging back and forth. As soon as you think LCN has gained the momentum by tying the score coming out of halftime, Utica comes back and has a long, sustained drive. That was the most important thing, using up a lot of clock as it went from the 3rd quarter into the 4th quarter now.
Forget even coming out of halftime. The pendulum was swinging back and forth on that last play. Talk about the late hit. How about that passing or the roughing the passer call on the other side of this quarter on the same drive for 3rd and 17, a chance for L'Anse Creuse North to secure it, and they couldn't. So just both teams shooting themselves in the foot on that one.
13 points off of LCN turnovers as well. Don't forget, this last Utica drive happened because of the LCN fumble. So you've turned 2 turnovers into 13 points, and some costly mistakes here tonight by the Crusaders. You talk about penalties, you talk about turnovers, and that's why you see them down in a 7-point hole. And they're taking a look at number 32, Logan Simons. He came off after that defensive drive and headed right over to the bench, and they're taking a look at him. So they'll be without his services here offensively as they've wanted to get him involved in the offensive play. 1st down play looking to go deep to number 11, Xavion Smith. The pass falls incomplete.
It's hard to guess sometimes up here, but from a guy who's had a couple of them, that looks like a concussion when they're shining the flashlight in your eye like that, trying to look at the pupils dilate, and that's not a good sign for Simons.
He's talking to his buddy Tyler Leroy down there. Maybe perhaps you hope maybe he just got something in his eye.
That's absolutely what you hope.
Pass goes to the outside. Dawson split with the reception. Brings up a 3rd and short, 3rd and 3. Szymanski quickly up to the line. Barks out the signals to the offensive line. Linemen get down in their 3-point stance. Snap comes out. Handoff is faked. Szymanski gonna keep it, gonna bounce to the left, and he just gets enough over the 1st down markers.
Number 2, Justin Szymanski carried the ball. Good enough for a 1st down.
How about that? That fake was enough to fake me out. Looked like Miles for sure had the ball coming on the counter, and he would have been met, but Szymanski, great job on the fake. On that option, they're very good at what they do. Very distracting, very deceptive. And it's important to a successful option. Is that fake is as important as the run.
Pistol look for LCN. Four wide receiver set. Szymanski drops back. Quick toss out on the wide receiver bubble screen, which got a flag on the play. And LCN has had a couple flags for procedural calls.
Szymanski's pass is complete, but there's a flag on the play.
Officials looking over at the Utica sideline to see perhaps if they want to decline this penalty. False start, backs him up. Michael Miles, lone setback. Szymanski driven hard to the turf, floated one up, and has his pass picked off. DeMarco Davis in coverage, just camped under it like a center fielder and picked the pass off.
And you saw when that throw went up, it was a wounded duck and just a tough catch. Absolutely no shot for anybody but Utica as it was thrown into triple coverage. An errant pass by Szymanski, and it cost him with the interception.
Szymanski had to get that pass out maybe sooner than he anticipated, threw off his back foot and paid the price as he got driven hard down, and he throws his second interception of the game, of the third LCN turnover of the ball game, gives the Chieftains the ball right back. And they go to Gagovich, and LCN has an answer for him there. And really, Crusaders are going to have to pin their ears back now defensively and really dig in deep. You're asking a lot out of this defensive unit now.
Yeah, Simons was over here on this on the near sideline, the Crusaders sideline, before that interception was thrown. He had called about 15 defensive players over, and they had a meeting trying to fire someone else. This is on their backs now right here. They need a quick stop.
Gagovich looking for a hole, can't find one. Nice job.
Number 2, Christian Gagovich, ball carrier.
We're at a point where every second counts. We're under 9 minutes to go here in the fourth. Every second counts. Every tick counts. Big stop, big 3rd and 10 play. Most importantly, be disciplined. Don't take any of these penalties. Crusaders defense doing well, playing very well. But that last touchdown on the last drive was the answer of 2 poor penalties from their unit. Got to show discipline. Got to face up to this challenge.
Ball spotted just inside the left hash at the 44-yard line. Gonna have to get it out to the LCN 44 for a first down. 3rd and 10, approaching 8 minutes remaining in regulation. They fake the handoff on the slant, in and out of the hands of Shane Lutz, and it's a 3 and out. Terrific job by the Crusader defense.
And terrific tackle by Thomas Monty, the junior defensive back on Davis. That was a great hit. Ball in and out of his hands, but a hard hit from the defensive back caused that ball to dislodge and fall harmlessly to the ground. Big stop for the Crusaders. They answered the bell. They did what they needed to do.
Dodging a bullet there after back-to-back turnovers. And Utica will now punt this ball away. High end-over-end kick, muffed by Turner down there, and he will wisely just fall on it. So the LCN offense goes back to work.
You can hear some, probably can't hear them, but some Crusaders defensive backs and some linebackers going absolutely nuts. Big time stop, they know it. Hopefully the offense for them, for their sake, can pick up on that momentum.
LCN has kind of gone away from the run just a bit. Spread them out once again. Szymanski feels the pocket collapse, and he will go down. Tackled at the 27. Didn't lose much there. But this has been a Utica defensive line and even their linebackers that have gotten into the backfield and really have forced Szymanski to get the ball out, I think, earlier than he's wanted to, and forced him into a couple interceptions.
And we mentioned it a lot in the first half. They've just been kind of beating a dead horse with that one, but they're playing just as well as this game started.
Little pass over the middle on the crossing route. Connects with Split, but not much there for Split as he couldn't outrace the tackle. Pickup of 2 brings up a 3rd and 8. Clock continues to run, under 7 minutes now. LCN defense did their job. Looking for their offense to give them a little bit of a lift. Big play right here.
Some of the Utica faithful, you can now hear them on this near sideline from the opposite side getting loud for their defense.
Trips to Szymanski's right. He looks that way. Goes back, scans the field, goes to his left. Incomplete. Antonio LaFata, who's made a couple grabs in this game, couldn't come up with that one, and LCN will trot out the special teams unit and punt this ball away.
Tough day for the Crusaders on that deep ball. It seems like they haven't hit on one of them there. So you kind of question the play call there for 3rd down and 9 to go 30 yards deep down to LaFata. Didn't really work out the last time, and they tried again, didn't work out again, and kind of electing to punt here.
High snap, down, kick is short, line drive, bounces, takes a good Crusader roll all the way down to the 37. So are you surprised at all that LCN has pretty much abandoned the run these last 2 drives and have tried to do everything through the air?
And, you know, they're a team that uses the pass to set up the run. They haven't hit on the pass outside the first couple minutes of this second half. It seemed like they made the adjustments to get it going, and especially when you're playing from behind, it's hard to stick with that run game. It hasn't been working all day. They keep going with it. It's the pass that's working, but it seems like now that they've completely abandoned it the last 2 drives that Utica's making their adjustments.
So once again, you're relying on your defensive unit to come up with another stop. This is perhaps your season right here in a nutshell. It comes down to your defense having to make a stop to keep your playoff hopes and dreams alive. Clock, 5:45 is an issue now for the Crusaders. They have to come up with a stop defensively and score a touchdown to force overtime. Chieftains in the driver's seat. Gagovich up to the 40. Off tackle and kind of just powered forward, and 3rd and 7. Line to gain is the 47.
See the Crusaders defense 3 and out the last time. 2 great plays here for no gain, and then just a very modest 3 yards. If they can come with the stop here, Utica go with the ground game still. You want to keep it on the ground. You do want to keep the clock moving, but you need this 1st down.
They send Kessler in motion. Gagovich, nice job defensively for LCN. You just don't want to pick up any personal foul calls as they bring Gagovich down, and it'll bring up a 4th down. 4.5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter.
LCN defense, how about this? 2 stands for them to be able to, you know, not a good drive on those couple of fouls to end the 3rd and going to the beginning stages of 4th, but 2 2-and-outs here to keep their offense in the game off of a turnover, giving them a fighting chance. And the Chieftains, they smell that 1st win. That's not an easy opponent to go up against. 0-7. You're sitting on 0-7. You want this game more than the other guy. I can promise you that.
Especially on the road as Turner allows that one to bounce, and that's going to be a costly mistake as this ball is going to roll all the way down inside the 10-yard line. Well, LCN's going to have to earn this victory here tonight. They're going to have to go down the length of the field. This drive's going to have to go 92 yards in order to potentially tie this score. A nice special teams play there by Utica, and
this is setting up to be the finish that we anticipated. We joked about halftime about this being a close game if we've called this year, and this setting up to be a finale of a finish. Plenty of time to get the drive, especially the way LCN moves the clock. You can do what you want. You can run the plays you want. You don't have to start airing it out. You can take your time, and you're sitting on all 3 of those timeouts as well, which is extremely important.
Yeah, no surprise. You go with that spread look. 4 wide receivers set. Turner, the only running back. And flushed out, nowhere to throw that football. Coverage sack that time. Szymanski, maybe a little bit of case of happy feet perhaps, as he just started to rush with that football, but gets brought down behind the line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up a 2nd down 15. Clock continues to move.
He was nervous on the 7. He's going to be real nervous on this one, especially expect the Chieftains to come in hot and heavy here. They've gotten a lot of pressure in this game, and this would be the perfect time for a sack.
Nickelback look out of the Chieftains. Dangerous pass. Good open field tackle right along the boundary that time by Jordan Hester. Minimal gain for Dawson split. And brings up a 3rd and 8.
Minimal gain, but it was enough to be able to get Szymanski's a little bit of breathing room back there, a little bit of space, and cut that distance in half to that 1st down.
3 wide receivers to Szymanski's left. A little bit of confusion in the Utica secondary as they were motioning players to where they needed them in the spot of the field, and Szymanski watches that snap sail over his head. He's got a wide open receiver. Keeps the play alive. And I believe he found Xavion Smith wide open. Talk about Smith coming back for the football all the way up to the 33-yard line.
That's exactly what you got to do. You can't give up on a play. Szymanski had no choice. Way to be heads up. He was being pursued. He had a defensive lineman on his back, still found the time to throw on the move. That's a next-level throw right there to be able to get that off on the run and keeping his Crusaders in it.
Once that ball went over his head, I thought Szymanski was going to throw the ball out of bounds as he tries to keep this play alive. Spins into a tackle. Kurt Kesson.
It's not the guy you want to spin into.
A big D and makes the tackle, and Szymanski has had to do a little bit of everything here tonight, keeping plays alive, and may come back to bite him just a bit there. Talk about that 3rd down play once again. Szymanski watches that snap sail over his head. He has the wherewithal to pick it up, keep the play alive, rolls out to his left and finds a wide open Xavion Smith all the way up to the 33. So it's 2nd down and 11 after they lose a yard. Szymanski going to have to take off again, and he gets bottled up and brought down. Zach Dries, 62. With the sack, back at the 30. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 13. LCN's going to have to get it all the way out to the 43. Surprised they're not taking a timeout here.
Szymanski struggling with his progressions. If that first option isn't there, he doesn't know where to go with it.
Things breaking down again, so he's going to use his feet. He's got a 1st down, gets upended at the 49. And there's a flag out there as well. DeMarco Davis makes the tackle. And this is going to be an interesting call, and more than likely going to be maybe a block in the back.
Two Falcons sitting on the 45, waiting for Szymanski, and he got up so fast and threw him. That's costly.
And that will indeed be the penalty call. A block in the back penalty.
Spot foul, so it doesn't completely take them out of range. It'll be about 3rd and 9, but
and wipes out the 1st down.
So costly. Just these mental, just these errors.
And the clock continues to tick at them. 82 seconds, looking right down the middle of the field, and Utica sideline celebrates, and that'll bring up a 4th down. So through that whole exchange, the penalty, the walk-off, the clock was rolling. LCN has all 3 timeouts in their back pocket, and they haven't used one. And you look up at the big board here at Zimmerman Field, and it's a minute 18, and your whole season comes down to this very play. 4th and 9 from the 34-yard line. Going to have to get it out to the 43. Szymanski in the shotgun, trips to his right. One lone wide receiver at the very top of the formation. They get the play call in. Szymanski barks out the signals. Utica showing all kinds of pressure. Going to have to get the play off. They do. Szymanski drops back, looks to float one out top, and that pass was just too easy to get intercepted, and that's going to be a pick 6. Turner to Matty into the end zone, and that will do it.
I'm not sure what that design play was there on a pass. Literally threw it straight up in the air.
Threw it straight up in the air, and that was a long pass made even longer as he was trying to throw it to the far side of the field, and Tamati just camped under it and takes it back the other way for 6 points and gives the Chieftains a 13-point lead, 33-20.
Szymanski just not sure what you're doing running that play without, you got 3 timeouts, and now you're going to go home with 3 timeouts in a play like that, especially when they were rushing, trying to get them off. That play clock was counting down there at the end. Design a play, run.
The drive stalls out because of the block in the back penalty as Matovsky adds the extra point, and it is now 34-20, and LCN had the first down. They had the first down and committed the block in the back penalty and backed them up, and then the clock continued to run once that ball was set, and Utica unable to get off the play that they wanted as Szymanski throws the 3rd interception of the night, the 4th LCN turnover of the game, and you just can't commit 4 turnovers in a football game and expect to win.
You can't commit 4 turnovers, and you cannot commit as many personal fouls and as many penalties. That last touchdown drive for the Chieftains, LCN was out of it twice. Twice they were out of it, 3 and deep, 3 and about 15 twice. Roughing the passer and a late hit both times cost them 15 yards, and the Chieftains were able to convert on those 4th downs. Not taking away from the Chieftains, because they did convert, and they've done a great job, especially on the back of Gagovich. Christian Gagovich, a big-time ball player, and they can run the ball and move the ball. But when you make that many errors, you're not going to win many ball games.
You expect, well, they're going to take a knee. Fair catch called for and made there. Just getting ready to say LCN may need a big special teams play, and they're not even going to get that opportunity with a minute 12 now remaining in the 4th quarter. Ball at the 22-yard line, trailing by 14 points. You never know. They will take on Dakota next week on the road. And
what a tough game that's going to be.
Yeah, you kind of, we called this a must-win game for LCN, and if they wanted to automatically qualify with 6 wins, and you thought, well, maybe they get in with 5 just based on their schedule, but things are going to be difficult to get the 5 now. They're going to have to go in and beat Dakota on the road. Szymanski those 3 interceptions and remains in the ball game, was looking for number 10.
We're looking at the scoreboard. We've been doing some scoreboard watch in this game. Romeo's still on top of Chippewa Valley, 19-16. But the game LCN was really watching was that Stevenson-Anchor Bay game. Stevenson's on top of Anchor Bay, 28-21. But
oh boy, big hit there. Talk about laying out your wide receiver.
Szymanski just not looking sharp today. A lot A lot of air under his throws is the only way to put it. Last couple times we've seen him looks pretty sharp, like straightforward throws, very good player. But today it's weather plays a factor, nerves play a factor. You're coming off of 2 losses into a must-win game, and that's what this was, is a must-win game. But credit the Chieftains, came out here to play, jumped all over an LCN team that doesn't get jumped on by anybody. Doesn't get jumped on by Ike, doesn't get jumped on by Grosse Pointe South, but they did it today. They made the big plays that won them this game, and it started with that deflected, and it started with that defensive line. Their defensive line played incredibly well today. When you can get pressure on a quarterback, you make them nervous. And you saw it here when it came down to trying to put a 2-minute drill together. Szymanski couldn't because he was dancing around, bouncing around on his feet, and it's because of the pressure that the defensive line has been putting on him all day.
It was Taylor Johnson, the injured LCN Crusaders, would get another big hit right across the middle. Jordan Hester applying the boom there.
You think they got some energy over there on that far sideline?
Yeah, this is going to be a big win for Utica, as you never want to finish a season winless, and Chieftains will come in on the road and pick up their very first victory of the season, improving their overall mark to 1-7, 1-4 in the MAC White. LCN will fall now to 4-4, 2-3 in the MAC White, and LCN with that 4-4, 500 record is just getting word now that Grosse Pointe South has beaten their rivals, Grosse Pointe North, 54-0. That's that's putting an exclamation point on a season in which they will go 5-0 in MAC White play.
And they take those Grosse Pointe schools, they take their sports seriously, especially when it comes to each other. So that's some bragging rights for a minute there for Grosse Pointe South. You don't forget about a 54-0 molly-whopping of your arch rival.
So South will go to 8-0. That's what a team they're looking like this season. It's going to be a tough matchup for whoever gets them in the playoffs.
Regardless of what Mott does at this point, secures the division for him.
Szymanski's pass skips in. That looked like a backwards pass. It will indeed be a backwards pass. So this is going to back up LCN even more. 50 seconds remaining.
Also looks like Stevenson is in cruise control up over Anchor Bay, 28-21. Now has the ball back as they recovered the ball. Anchor Bay fumbled, knocking on the door at the 1, and they only got 2 minutes left to go in that game. Bump Stevenson up.
Szymanski's pass in and out of the hands of the intended wide receiver. Dawson split with a touchdown grab in this game. But a couple pick sixes. This Utica defense has come up with a couple of scores, 4 turnovers. And really, Utica got off the bus while they went down, scored the opening touchdown, led 7-0. The opening drive of the game for LCN was at pick 6. It was like a 95-yard pick 6 as LCN couldn't cash in on an early opportunity, knocking on the Utica door. And it's kind of been all Chieftains all the time as LCN worked themselves back into this game. They scored on the opening drive of the third quarter to tie the score at 20 apiece. And since then, Utica has scored 14 straight points and will put the finishing touches on a really impressive road victory.
Gabe Olszewski comes in with another sack, and we don't have the defensive statistics up here, but I can only imagine they're in double-digit sacks at this point. Defensive line playing out of their mind tonight.
And this LCN offensive line has broke down a couple times throughout this ball game, and Szymanski's had to think on his feet and rolled out and kept a couple plays alive, but hasn't been able to make enough plays. And And you'll be thinking about those 3 interceptions, especially that pick 6. Really not much he could do on that first pick 6. The ball was obviously deflected at the defensive line as they were looking for Logan Simons, and that was just a terrific play by the Utica Chieftains. But those 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble will spell doom every single time, and it's going to be a tough season for LCN. A 3-game losing streak heading into that road game next week at Dakota.
Still potentially a winnable game. Obviously, Dakota, the juggernaut, one of the juggernauts up in the MAC Red. I say juggernauts because there's 3 of them between Chippewa, Romeo, and Dakota, and they can only seem to beat each other as the only teams that can beat. But potentially looking at a rest week for Dakota before they go into the playoffs, depending on what happens with this Chippewa-Romeo game. They could be looking at a championship, but if you don't see Toko, you stand a fighting chance against that team.
So LCN falls. Final score 34-20. They will look ahead now to Dakota as Utica will go back home and take on the Big Reds at Chippewa Valley as Utica wins their first ball game of the year. They improved to 1-7. LCN falls to 4-4. Well, that's going to do it for our final regular season broadcast of the year here on Macomb Township Government Access for our entire crew, including my broadcast partner, Adam Abraham. I'm Brad Fetter saying goodnight from LCN. Once again, final score, Utica 34, L'Anse Creuse North 20. Thank you so much for watching all season long here on Macomb Township Government Access. We'll see you next time.